Hi, welcome back to Sideninehomestead. Jody.
Sean.
All right, so we're here with our day 45 update, recap, kind of go over what's been going on in the past week with us with our carnivore diet. I'm going to show you how to make these amazing shotgun shells. We did the snake method with them too. So you have 2 layers of the briquettes on the bottom, 1 on the top. Look at those, they look amazing. Wonderful glaze on them, and they are the perfect snack.
All that bacon.
On the Weber kettle.
Delicious. All right, we'll see you back in 15.
Move that butter around a little bit, let that melt. Lifestyle, as we've already covered the difference with those words. So first, most people ask is about weight loss. So I'll go first with that. For me, my weight has actually stayed pretty steady this week. You know, you kind of go up half a pound, down a half a pound, like just kind of back and forth. So I'm okay with that because I am still losing inches, and I can tell that because the pair of shorts that I have on today, even a week ago, I could not get on. They were pretty close, maybe this close at the waist, but now they are able to be worn very comfortably, and I have no problem. So I'm not upset with not losing any weight this week.
So I think it's the same with me, and I don't know if it's because it's day 45, but for me, I'm down 24.5 pounds, and I've been hovering the 24 pounds for about a week now. But like what Jody said, the inches off the waist. So what it seems like to us is that we're losing fat, but we're gaining muscle. So there's a trade-off because, you know, I can feel the difference in my tone. We're not lifting weights yet and stuff like that, but we are exercising, which we'll get to. So 24.5 pounds to me is great in just 45 days.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not going to complain at all. And again, we're doing it for the lifestyle. Like our last video, we commented that people, you know, the whole thing between a diet and, you know, a way of life. And there was a lot of really good feedback. We appreciate that feedback. And everybody agreed. Yeah. A lot of people just say they're doing carnivore.
Yeah.
Not diet, not lifestyle. So that makes sense to us. So that's kind of what we're going with too.
Yeah.
But sorry, didn't mean to sidetrack. But yeah, so 24.5. And, you know, I always wore a belt, and I still wear a belt, and I have to wear a belt now. And, you know, we went out this past weekend to do some walking, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. And, you know, right now my belt's on the last hoop before, right? It was on, well, not before, but it was on the last hoop. And then when we went out this past weekend, it was not only on the last hoop, but I was constantly pulling up my pants, where 2 weeks ago it was on the last hoop and it was still kind of staying up. So, you know, to Jody's point that, yeah, we're not losing weight, we're losing fat, and we're gaining muscle. So it's a wash.
Yeah, it was a big difference, I think, especially with his belt, because when it was on the tightest loop now, I mean, it's a good 2 inches out, like if you were to pull it from his waist. So it's been a huge difference. So the inches have been huge, and I was very pleasantly surprised to put on these shorts, and they fit very comfortably. So that's always a good thing.
Okay, wait, break. I just wanted to make sure I hit record.
Golly.
All right.
Okay, so next, one thing that we've noticed is that I feel like our stamina is getting bigger. Like we're able to do things for longer times. I think I talked about in one of our other videos about how we used to need naps all the time, because, you know, when I think it was in the context of sleep. Like we weren't sleeping very well because of a certain one of us snoring and things like that. But so we used to nap, but now, you know, not only that, we don't nap nor snoring, but we can last a long time, like doing things. So when he was talking before about us going walking, we went to the Cleveland Zoo on whatever day. Anyway, and it's a huge zoo. If you've never been there, it's awesome. So if you're anywhere close to it, it's worth the trip to go there. But what did we put on? Like 18,000 steps doing the zoo. Like it took, I don't know, 4 hours to see everything. And it's hills and everything. And you know what? We made it through. And it was hot. but it was a long day, and we were tired at the end. But
And we learned too. I took a backpack, and we had our big water containers. There's two. There's what, 32 ounces. Yeah. So, and we put our electrolytes in that, and we both had them, and they were chilled. So that got us through those 4 hours. And then we learned in the car, we had a cooler with a gallon of water that was cold for us for when we got back. So we're learning that. And the whole stamina, I mean, the 18,000 steps. So we went to the zoo. We got up early. We went to the zoo. We walked all day, and then we weren't done, right? So what did we do? We went to the Cleveland Botanical Garden.
Yeah.
And that was another 2 hours. And the majority of it was outside.
Yeah.
It was hot, and the sun was shining. But, so we went through all that. And then they had the museum. We're like, let's not push it, because, that was a lot of walking. It was all day, because we were done with the conservatory, or the
zoo.
Not the zoo, the second one, the whole flower garden.
Botanical garden.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that was another 2 hours, so 6 hours. It was a good day. We enjoyed ourselves.
It was nice being outside, but like to do something like that, like pre-carnivore, we would have ate
the majority of the day.
Well,
oh, you know what? That's a good point.
Oh,
because
we did talk about that.
We did, and that's something we wanted to put in our notes here, and we totally forgot. Like, so growing up, we're in Western Pennsylvania. I mean, the Pittsburgh Zoo's awesome, and the Cleveland Zoo is probably twice as nice.
Yeah, at least.
I mean, the Pittsburgh Zoo is pretty nice too.
Yeah. Food.
Oh, thank you. I saw a shiny object. So, in the past when we've gone to the zoo and we've taken the kids, it's just something we've always enjoyed doing. Mm-hmm. It's that, on my mind, I'm walking, I'm tired, I'm lethargic because it's hot and I'm miserable. And, the only thing on your mind is, when are we going to stop and eat, right? Oh, look, there's ice cream, right? This time, we got up early, we had breakfast, and that's another kind of thing we want to talk about. Yeah. But, so we had breakfast, and we were good until that evening, right? Mm-hmm. So when we were at the zoo, I had a comment. It's like, Jody, we should mark this down as a pro too, because usually when we were heavier and we ate the normal human lifestyle, what do they call it? Standard American diet, right? Sorry, the standard American diet, where you had all the carbs and everything. You would be kind of tired, and you'd always be looking, hey, where can we stop for food? Everything was always like, oh, look, there's a place to eat. Let's eat there. Instead of just slowing down, taking in the scenery and noticing everything and just relaxing. And we actually, for the first time, walking through the zoo, we saw more stuff than we've ever seen, just because we weren't, where's the food? What time are we eating? I'm hungry.
And it was funny at one point, and I forget what exhibit we were at, but there was a mom with a stroller, and the kid, it was hot. The kid was fussing, probably about 3 years old, something like that. Fussing, didn't want to be in the stroller. And the mom said, well, you have to sit in the stroller because I need to go eat, so we're going to go eat. And eating, those of you who've had toddlers, for the most part, they don't want to sit still to eat. They don't want to sit in a stroller. They want to run around. They have so much energy. But it was striking to me, because that's the standard American diet. I need to eat. It's been 3 hours since my last meal. I got to eat again. I need to eat. And that was one thing we looked at too. Some of the places we've been, there are really good carnivore options, things to choose from. We were kind of sadly disappointed in the food selection and most of the things that we saw. Now, we didn't really look that close, but
as we walked by, right? I mean,
yeah.
So walking through the zoo is what she's saying. Yeah. Is there's those little food booths everywhere. There's either ice cream, pretzels, French fries. I'm like, where's the meat on stick?
Where's your meat hut?
Where's the meat hut?
Yeah.
So I mean, there was nothing really there.
There wasn't really. I mean, if we had. Maybe we could have searched and found a burger that we could have gotten or something. We weren't hungry, but it just was striking to me. And then we saw all these families there that were getting their lunch or whatever it was, and everyone's getting the chicken tenders and the French fries.
The deep fried, not chicken tenders.
Yeah, yeah. And then, you know, the big 32-ounce thing of Pepsi to go with it. And it's just like, oh my gosh, we would be sound asleep if you ate that.
It's sad. And, you know, the more we see people like that, the more we just want to go over and say, what are you doing to yourselves, right? So we're starting to become advocates too, because it just breaks your heart to see these people so lost and just, you know, and it's all the food that they eat. All right. Okay.
So moving on. So one of the things that we talked about, which we kind of alluded to, was breakfast. So, you know, I think we talked in another video about that's the easiest meal to eat out, right? Because you can get your eggs, your bacon, your sausage, your ham, whatever. And it's easy. Like, they don't have to do anything special to your meal. They don't have to hold sides and maybe potatoes or something. But it's a pretty simple meal to order. But what we found is that we spend a lot of money when we go for breakfast. And you're thinking, well, especially with us with chickens, but even if we didn't have chickens, okay, so we each have a couple eggs, a couple slices of bacon, and maybe a couple sausage patties. And your breakfast isn't any cheaper because they held the potatoes and the toast. You know, you're still spending $12, $13 on a breakfast that is so not really worth that. And then, you know, by the time you're all said and done with tip and everything, that's a pretty expensive breakfast. So we were talking, like, how can we do this better? Like, we have our own eggs. We have plenty of eggs. And, you know, how can we just make a breakfast work when you're traveling?
Yeah, so we have a solution for that we're going to show in our next video.
Yeah.
And the point of all that is that, you know, when we were out of town for a couple of days, when we went to the Cleveland Zoo and stuff, you know, we went, you can't eat hotel breakfast because it's Jimmy Dean's this, Jimmy Dean's that. And if you look at the ingredients, like, you know, so we always find a nice little diner where you could get some cracked eggs. Oh, so I went into the hotel across the street because our hotel, it was at the courtyard. And if you're in the courtyard, you have to order food and stuff. And it's very limited. But so I was walking outside like I do, waiting for her to get ready. And I went out of curiosity to the hotel across the street. So I just went in and they were having their breakfast buffet. I was like, oh, okay. So I went over and I was looking, they had the bacon, but the bacon was the thin, see-through, pre-cooked bacon where all they did was nuke it to warm it up. And then they had scrambled eggs. So the girl brought out new scrambled eggs, and I stopped her. I was like, can I ask you, those eggs, were they cracked eggs or did they come from a carton? Because please let me, I mean, yeah, the stuff that comes in a carton, when they scrambled it, it kind of looks like egg, but the ingredient list is this long. So when you're at a hotel and you're getting scrambled egg, anywhere actually, if you're getting scrambled eggs, you have to find out if they're cracked eggs or if they come from a bag or from a carton, because the ingredient list is insane. And I don't know, and I guess they could call it eggs because they put like a drop of egg in there or something.
Egg in it.
And it's just like a shake. Like if you go to McDonald's and you have to order a shake, they don't have milk shakes because there's no milk in their milkshakes, right? Yeah. It's from what I understand. But anyway, back to, so I asked her if those were from a carton or if they were cracked eggs. She's like, came in a bag. So, you know, it was a lower brand hotel, so I'm sure it wasn't a whole bag of cracked eggs. So, you know, it's just sad that, you know, people go like, let's eat a good breakfast. We'll have some meat, we'll have some scrambled eggs, and you're really not getting what you think you're getting.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate because, you know, especially if you're traveling with a family, you know, that's a great benefit to staying in certain hotels is that free breakfast. Because that's a big money saver for families versus taking, you know, a family of 4 to 6 people out to breakfast every day.
Yeah.
But when you do that, it's like, oh, that's so bad.
And for breakfast, we learned that, you know, we were getting the size. We want just 2 eggs, the 3 pieces of bacon, and the side of ham. You know, and that was like $18. Or if you got the Sunshine Special or whatever it was called, right? You got all that, but you got potatoes and bread and some other stuff. And if you ask them to hold it, they look at you like you're crazy.
Right. Like, well, do you want something else? How about some fruit? Would you like fruit instead? No, I just want the eggs and the meat. Okay, well, we have home fries. Would you rather home fries than hash browns? No. Eggs and meat.
Yeah, so So yeah, we kind of have an idea that we're gonna try, the next time we're out and about for breakfast.
We'll have to share it with you, but we're thinking that it might work out really well and allow us, because and the flip side of that is, like, if you go out for dinner and you're getting like a burger or a
which
steak,
we did do while we were on vacation,
and it was excellent.
On a call vacation on a really quick trip. So we did go to a local. What was the name of that place? Lizard? Oh no,
the other one. The Oak Barrel.
Yeah, over in Independence. Yeah, Oak Barrel. So we went in, we sat down, we got a charcuterie platter. It was really nice, but they had fruit and stuff on it. We asked them to hold all that stuff, but it came with different meats and different kinds of cheeses. So that's kind of what we got. And it was a lot. So we got that as an appetizer with our water, and we put our electrolytes in it. And we were still kind of hungry after that.
Hey, we were at a high top table too.
Yeah, my favorite. My last video, we love going to high top tables and just snacking. And,
yeah.
But anyway, back to the story. So after that, we wanted to just share a hamburger, and it was a half pound. It was a big hamburger.
Really big, yeah.
And it came with barbecue sauce, lettuce, pickles, and I think an onion ring, and it came with French fries, and wasn't there another side? I mean, it was
Probably.
like. So I told her, I didn't tell her, I was like, I would like just the burger with the cheese and the bacon. That's
and
it.
The egg.
Oh yeah, there was a fried egg. That's why it was so good. That was the other thing. And then it had a fried egg. And she's like, okay, no bread? No bread. And hold the fries and hold everything else. And she was like,
meat on plate again.
Yeah, but then again, it was full price. It was still $18.
Yeah, it was $18. So that was like, that's when we started talking about the cost of breakfast with that. Like, for me, I'd rather go out for dinner.
That burger was really good.
And it was. It's the egg. So I'd rather spend the money doing that, or like going out and getting good steaks for dinner, versus spending a lot of money on eggs and bacon for breakfast,
Yeah, so we're going to have to figure out what we're going to do for food, because like what we said too is that we canceled a week vacation that we had planned to go down to Dewey Beach right before we started this, and we wanted to start it because we were so excited because of everybody talking about it and seeing all the life changes. So we kind of canceled a vacation just because we wanted to start. And we haven't really done much since then. No. So we've been trying to just get little getaways since we didn't get to go on that
things like
beach vacation.
Little night or two here or there that's somewhere close to home, but it's just enough that you feel like you got away, and we're not taking time off of work or things like that. So that's nice.
So we've been on 2 weekend trips so far. I think we said on the last video we kind of went away, but for just a couple days. Same with just this past weekend. But we're learning what is feasible with food for us, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like what we want to put the value in, like we said, and it's not bacon and eggs from a diner, unfortunately.
No, in the one restaurant we were at, we were sitting. It was a different one because we were there just 2 nights. So we went to, I think it was like Lizards or something. Was it Lizards?
Something lizard. The winking lizard? Winking lizard?
Something like that. And it had an outdoor seating area, and it had high tops overlooking it was a really nice atmosphere.
It was.
And it was packed because Ohio State football was on, so there was a lot of people there rooting on Ohio State Buckeyes, I guess it is.
Yeah.
And we were just watching the people. Like that's what we do. Right? We get our high tops, we get our charcuterie platters, and then we drink water now.
Yeah.
But before we would get wine or beer, and we just sit there relaxing, taking it all in, and like the people, some of the couples would come in that were overweight, beet red face, hypertension setting in, and the entire time they don't look around. Where we're all about the experience, like we said in the last video, where we'll just enjoy. We'll look around, look at the architecture, look at the everybody else, listen to conversations, and just relax. We'll come, and the way we have always done it was, we'd sit down, have a drink, and this is before. We'd get an appetizer with a drink, we would relax, and then it would always be like, would you like to order your dinner? No. We just want to enjoy this appetizer and relax, and then we'll order something later, right? And then but you just want to walk up to these people, and we have to figure out how we could start helping more people too. We're hoping the videos, like Homesteadhow, we're hoping these videos reach people, give them encouragement to start your own YouTube channels too, right? Or talk to people, get family members to start. But just looking at all these people, it just makes you so sad. And we're talking right, because so they're changing the levels for the different levels for
the hypertension,
high blood pressure and stuff. They just changed everything, right? And for cholesterol, right? They're changing numbers. They're lowering thresholds.
Yeah.
Why are they doing that?
So they can get you on a pharmaceutical.
That's it.
So yeah, when that initially came out, and I'm not going to even quote numbers because I can't remember them off the top of my head, and I don't want to misquote something, but they went down fairly low, I feel like, for the hypertension. And I'll have to look that up, but it was kind of surprising where, I haven't seen any. I mean, I try to stay up on some of the research. I haven't seen any studies done that shows that a blood pressure of 140 over 80, you have to get on some kind of medication versus one that's 160 over 100. I haven't seen that. Why was that the choice of the number that they chose? I don't know that, but they have lowered all of those numbers.
Yeah, makes you well, anyway, let's move on from there so we don't get banned from YouTube. It's just disgusting, right? It's just hey, take this medication, take that medication. Oh, we've got new numbers that work better now for personal health.
Yeah, and it's frustrating, and especially when you want to know like why something is happening. Like if there was some kind of medical change with you in some way or fashion, and you ask the doctor, well, hey, this is what's going on, and this is just speaking in generalities. Well, that's just this, so I can write you a script for that. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, why now? Like, where did that come from? Why am I having this symptom? That doesn't make sense to me. Like, I'm not going to take a pill until I know what's causing it, because if I can figure out what's causing it, then I can stop doing that, and then I won't need the pill.
Yeah.
So, like, to me, it just was kind of crazy. Sorry, they're
it's always when we sit down.
Dirt
it's
bikes.
like, all right, let's move on.
It's a beautiful night.
It is.
So the other thing we've been talking about briefly amongst ourselves was the negativity from others, and I don't know if anyone else has experienced this. I wouldn't say this has been like a huge thing, but just some people are doing it well-meaning, and other people are just like, you're crazy, you're gonna get cancer. There were studies done,
There was this. I read one study. Yeah, NPR did a study that this one person ate meat from wherever, and they got cancer.
And if anyone's taken any kind of statistics class, you know that you can skew data and skew whatever, like research things and all of those.
That thing is
sorry.
It's so loud. Like, we might have to pause and pick this back up.
But you can skew. So if I want to find this piece of data, I can design a study to give me that result. And you can see it because when you take a statistics class, they teach you like how to really read a research study and what is a good study, what does it consist of. And like most of them are not even random control trials, and that's what you need. So, you kind of have to take a lot of that stuff with a grain of salt, but we really don't live in the middle of like this mecca. We're actually really quiet here.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we have had some naysayers, saying things, and and personally, I work in healthcare, so I kind of kept my stuff, kind of to myself, professionally, just because everyone, follows the standard, everything from every organization, that this is what healthy means. And, I chose to do something different, and
all right,
it's working.
I'm thinking we need to pause this because that thing is so loud.
Oy. Okay, so moving on from that, I don't think that we're fortunate we haven't really experienced a whole lot of negativity, but I think you have to kind of pick and choose who you're talking to about things. So lastly, we wanted to kind of recap some of the pros and cons that we talked about in a previous video. Just to kind of, we've had a lot of new subscribers that have come in, and, I know sometimes it's hard to go back and watch other videos and things. So we just kind of wanted to give a quick recap over the positives and somewhat negatives that we've experienced, and just wanted to share that again with you. So for my pros, I have easy meal planning and grocery shopping. Obviously that's super easy because I really only go to one department. Maybe buy some cheese and butter, but for the most part it's just the meat department. So that works out really well, and it's very easy. Sleep. I cannot say enough about the quality of sleep that I get. And as of, what was it, like day 4 or 5? Somewhere, one of those days was when I completely stopped snoring. And and I don't,
thank you, Jesus.
I don't think either of us really, well, I can't say that. I don't think I realized how big of a problem it was. I knew it was a problem for him, but I just thought he was being a little overly dramatic about it. But I felt like I slept well, and I don't think I really did, because I was tired all the time, just exhausted, tired all the time. And now, I wake up with kind of going back to the stamina thing. Like, I have energy. I don't need to nap during the day ever. I never have that like 2 p.m. slump at work. Like, I'm good. So those were two really big things for me. Obviously, clothes fitting better. Like I already talked about these shorts. I'm thrilled that they fit because I really like them, and I was upset that I couldn't wear them. Those were kind of my big pros. And then cons, we talked a little bit about this early on, was waking up at night to go to the bathroom.
Number one.
Yeah, number one. Tinkle, if you will. I've always been the type of person who kind of limits any liquids after a certain time, because I try to eliminate getting up at night. But yeah, no, it's
Twice a night, every night.
It was rough
up
there
till
for a
day
while.
40.
Yeah, so just fairly recently it stopped, where now maybe once a night. Sometimes I can go without going at all. It just depends, but most of the times it's once a night.
Same for me as well.
Yeah, and we're fortunate though, because our sleep is so good, we fall right back to sleep. So it makes it really not as inconvenient as it sounds. And I think that's just kind of like your body's way of just flushing out everything, and you're done for the day, so your body can relax and everything just kind of releases. So not necessarily a bad thing, but can be frustrating, especially when it's twice a night. The other con was that sugar is in everything. That really ticked me off. I'm a big spice rub junkie. Like, if I watch this barbecue channel and they come out with a spice rub, I'm like on their website, add to cart, oh yeah, that looks great. And I don't really read the ingredients, but I have a problem, and so I do, it's bad. So I went through the one day, I was like, okay, well, after the 30 days we were gonna kind of experiment a little bit with adding some other seasonings in. So I wanted to look at the spice rubs that I normally use just to see what was in them. And usually the first or second ingredient in them is some form of sugar. Regular sugar, cane sugar, brown sugar. Yeah. I was so frustrated, and like really good expensive brands that I'm buying, that are $10 for a small container, and they all have sugar in them. So they went bye-bye. We gave those away. So those were my two big cons that I had.
So my pros, I guess for years.
Yeah.
I've had heartburn every time, every night I'd have heartburn. And I have Mylanta in the fridge. I like it chilled. A swig every night for years and years and years. I think 2-3 days in, I haven't had Mylanta since. No. 45 days. So it's been 43 days, I guess you could say. No more Mylanta, no more heartburn. When we used to go on trips or just weekend getaways, oh my God, the heart-wrenching. I'd have to sit out in the hotel room. I'd be eating Rolaids. It's horrible. So anyway, heartburn completely gone, right? And I had SIBO, S-I-B-O, and it's when the bacteria from your upper intestine or your lower intestine vice versa. Went too far, right? It was from the upper.
Yeah, small intestine bacterial overgrowth.
Thank you. Thank you. Medical industry, right? So, and whenever I would eat something for the first time, for the first bite, the first swallow, this shooting pain in my stomach that was so intense, right? And every time I would take that first bite and that first swallow, that pain, and that was going on for about a month, and that was worrying me. So I was going to go to the doctors, but then a couple weeks after that, we kind of started this we started carnivore. Right? So, and that's completely gone. Yeah. So I've been pain-free, heartburn-free for 43 days, even though this is our day 45, right? Okay. Knees, back pain, all gone. I used to get up kind of hurting. My knees were kind of hurting. Obviously that's probably weight and inflammation. Big sugar junkie I was. Lost weight, and for me, for some reason, I have a lot of confidence in myself and everything. But whenever I would be around all kinds of skinny people, I always had self-doubt for some reason. Oh, they're so skinny and I'm so big, blah, 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 blah. And it was all in my mind. But, to reason that too, all skinny people are not healthy, because I know several skinny people that all they do is eat candy. Yeah. Adults, these aren't kids, right? That just eat candy, and candy, sugar, inflammation, and they look like they're all inflamed, and it's just it's so sad. You just want to speak to people, shake them, and what are you doing? So sleeping, getting up twice a night to tinkle was a lot. So day 40, it's once a night. Sometimes not even until morning. And we typically stop drinking water at 6 o'clock religiously from day one. We always stopped at 6. So we're still stopping at 6. It's just, I guess it took our body that long to finally work itself through. Oh, the big one that I didn't write down was that 25-day thing. So up to the 25th day, I was probably, because I was so hooked on sugar, it took probably 25 days before my body readjusted, because I was kind of tired, lethargic a bit, maybe 70% at my energy level. And then I would say on day 25, and I think I talked about this in the last video, on day 25, bam, something changed that day. I was jumping around, singing and dancing. I was like at 125%. I can't explain it. I guess my body took 25 days to flush the sugar and everything out, and bam, because it's not like we didn't eat what we're eating now. I mean, we tried to stick to fatty meats, ribeyes and stuff like that. So it's not like on day 25 we changed something miraculously that gave us energy. No, I think something happened, which was great. Oh, I do have that there. So that was a big pro. So the 25-day mark. So let me give that word of advice, right? So if you're feeling tired, you eat carbs, before to give you energy, spaghetti, bread, whatever, to give you energy to be able to do stuff. When you're carnivore, you don't eat spaghetti and bread and carbs to give you energy. So that you get energy from eating meat fat. And when you eat meat fat, you burn that fat. It doesn't get stored. A lot of people are like, oh my God, you're going to get fat and cancer and sick and stuff like that. But, that's just not the case. As you all know, right? So anyway, I think we've been through most of the stuff we wanted to talk about. I guess recommendations after 45 days. Yeah. What would you suggest? Would you still do this?
Absolutely. I would totally do this, and I would highly recommend it to people. Like I said, working in healthcare, it's a little dicey, so I don't necessarily talk about it at work, although, people freely come into my office and see what I'm eating and things like that. So there's, no one's ever said anything, but if they did, I would certainly tell them.
They're like, what? And there's stories that she hears at work that she can't really tell.
Right. But yeah, it's so...
People inflict harm on themselves.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's that they know, right? I mean, every day, if you eat XYZ, and every day at a certain time you have heartburn, and you have to take Tums or Rolaids or something, you would you would
You
hope.
would think something would connect there and be like,
And you see it, and you
Yes.
just want to go say something. Look,
yeah, you can feel so much better, if you just do this or try this instead and see how you feel.
so we're gonna have to learn on how you can kind of get your toe
Yeah.
in the water, so to speak.
Because you don't want to be like overbearing and overstepping your bounds and like
especially at work.
to sound like
Family
you're-
and friends, you can.
Yes, yeah. Just ask our kids.
Right.
But yeah, I think depending on the situation, you kind of need to tread lightly on that and see. And you're like, if someone were to come up to me and say, "Wow, you look great. You look like you've been losing weight. What are you doing?" I would gladly tell them, knowing full well that you're going to get the backlash of, the standard American diet and all of those types of things. But, I don't think you can argue with success. And,
No, you can't.
The way we feel is like off the charts from the way we were before. So I think that the proof is in the pudding, so to speak.
And I'm supposed to get a blood test in another couple weeks, I think, 2 weeks.
Yes.
So I'll post
Something like that.
I'll post my numbers. We'll go through my numbers in 2 weeks. So in 2 weeks, that'll be 45 to 65 days.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I'll be anxious to see as well. So thank you. Everybody's leaving great comments and great stories. I'm thinking what we might want to do is if you leave a story, maybe we could pick the best stories and kind of talk about those stories, because people are leaving such good comments that's so encouraging, and it's just mind-blowing on how much weight.
Yeah.
It's not even the weight. How many ailments have been
Yes.
cured, and people leave comments, and it's just amazing. Like,
It is,
this is
yeah.
the cure.
I got rid of my arthritis. I'm not a diabetic anymore. My pain's gone. I used to have gout every month, and now I don't have it. All these things that it's like, and this was the simple answer to everything. It's kind of mind-blowing.
It's so simple. It's
Mm-hmm.
Do we miss fruits and vegetables and stuff? I was kind of a big fruit person,
Yeah.
and I liked salads, but do I miss them? Not really. Because you know what? We barbecue. Check out our barbecue videos. We love the barbecue now. We're starting to get pretty good at it.
Yeah.
You
So
know.
that part's been fun because it was actually good timing as we were learning to barbecue that we started this, because it was like, great, well, now we can try
Just
all these
roll
different
right into
things.
that.
And now we always have a ton of smoked and grilled meat ready to go that we can eat at any time. So that's really nice.
Yeah, so we have videos on that, but I kind of like the idea of, sharing people's stories too.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that on the next one. So leave a comment below. We'd love to hear from you all, especially if you're a repeat watcher. I know some of you have probably commented before, but don't hesitate to share more things about your journeys. We'd love to hear it, and it's always encouraging to everybody else too.
Yes. And thank you. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
And we'll see you soon.